Hey guys, it's Mo. Welcome to Reading with Mo, and today we're going to be doing a book unhaul. So I have a stack of books probably this high that I'm planning on getting rid of, but I wanted to show you guys what ones I'm getting rid of in case you're curious. I'll let you know why I'm getting rid of each one. I should have done this sooner actually. I hate when I have so many to get through, but let's just go straight into them. So the first couple are ones that were sent to me that I read and I enjoyed, but I don't feel any attachment to them or any need to hold on to them, keep them. The first one is The All Night Sun by Diane Zena. This one came out I think a couple months ago. I feel like I've talked about this book so much recently, but we're following a teacher who forms a relationship with her student. They end up going to Sweden and stuff goes on from there. The next one was also a relationship with the teacher, but in a different way. Like that one was platonic. This one is an abusive relationship, and this is called Being Lolita by Austen Wood. It was a memoir of her time having a relationship with her older English teacher while she's in high school. She recounts coming of age while going through this crazy life experience. I don't see myself reading it again. It wasn't a bad book, but I don't see myself reading it again, so I don't need to hold on to it. Next, we have Record of a Night Too Brief by Hiromi Kawakami. This one is a book in translation, originally from Japanese. I gave this book 2 stars, so I don't want to hold on to it. I did not enjoy it. This actually is 3 short stories and I just didn't understand them, didn't really get them. I have another book, Strange Weather in Tokyo by this author that I do plan on reading. Probably not soon because I didn't really get on with this one so much, but eventually I'll get to that one. Our Tragic Universe by Scarlett Thomas. This was a random used bookstore buy, mainly because I liked the cover and the sprayed edges. Then I went on to read some of the beginning. I read like the first 30 pages or so, and I just wasn't feeling it, didn't like it, had no compelling reason to keep going, so I wasn't going to force myself to read something I didn't like. Then we have The Lonely City by Olivia Lang. This is The Adventures in the Art of Being Alone. It's a nonfiction book. Each chapter follows a different artist and their relationship with being alone and that topic in general in their lives and in their works. I thought it was okay. I enjoyed the first half. I put it down, and maybe I shouldn't have put it down because when I picked it back up I didn't find myself enjoying it as much as the first time when I started reading it, so I don't see myself reading this again. Then we have All These Beautiful Strangers by Elizabeth Clayford. This one's a mystery. It has to do with this like secret society at girls' college, or not girls' college, but like a boarding school. And also there's a mystery of the main character. Her mom disappeared when she was 7 years old, and there's the mystery of what happened to her mom. Did she like run away? Is she dead? Did the father kill him? So there's a few different mysteries going on in this book, and I enjoyed it, but with mysteries and thrillers I hardly ever hold on to them unless like they really were really good, and this one was just okay. Definitely no plans to reread that. And then we have The Chrysalids, which I actually have 2 copies of this book. I had accidentally purchased 2 copies of this one. This is by John Wyndham. I think even if I were to really like this book, it's not one that I want 2 copies of, and I'm not like the biggest fan of this edition anyway, so I'm just going to keep the other one and get rid of this one. Then we have The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. This is the copy I've had for forever. I just upgraded to a nice Barnes & Noble one, so I don't need to hold on to this one. I don't need 2 copies of it. Same with Dominicana. This is my 3rd copy of this book I think I have. I had gotten rid of a different one. Okay, so I had the not Barnes & Noble, the Book of the Month edition. I had already gotten rid of that one. And I had this one. I think this one was like sent to me. But then I purchased the Waterstones edition. I really like the paperback one. It takes up less space anyway, and it has the nice sprayed edges and everything, so I'm going to get rid of this one. I don't need 2 copies, but I did enjoy this book. It's one I would definitely recommend if you're into it. I don't want to take too long talking about each of these books, but in this one we're following a 15-year-old Anna. She's from the Dominican Republic, and she ends up moving to America, marrying someone twice her age, and then basically growing up and coming of age in that type of situation, and it was a good one that I would recommend. And we have a couple books that I started but didn't finish, and I have no desire to finish them. The first one is Oryx and Crake by Margaret Atwood. This is part of a trilogy, and I read the first, I don't know, 30-ish pages of it, and it just didn't pull me in at all. I had no desire to continue on with this book, so I'm going to pass on it. And then we have Brown Girl in the Ring by Nalo Hopkinson. This one I got a little further into, but some of the stuff it was getting into I just wasn't interested, so I'm passing this one on as well. Then we have Clara Callan by Richard B. Wright. This one was okay. I think I gave it like 3 stars. It's these letters back and forth between 2 sisters set during the 30s, I believe it was. And I enjoyed it, but like it wasn't super memorable. 3 stars. I'm definitely not going to read it again. Next we have a short story collection, and that's also by Nalo Hopkinson. These ones are like kind of like science fiction to mythical types of short stories. There's a few in here I enjoyed. Some that I thought were just okay. Overall, it just didn't leave a strong impression on me as far as like wanting to hold on to it and wanting to read it again. So I'm going to pass this one on. That's the case usually with most of the books I decide to get rid of. And that's also the case with this one, Shut Up You're Pretty by Taya Mitonji. I wish I liked this one better because I think the cover on this is just gorgeous. It's marketed and sold as a short story collection, but it doesn't really read like a short story collection because it just reads like each chapter is a continuing chapter in this person's life. So I don't really get the short story collection name on this, but it's whatever. We're following this young woman. She's Congolese, and she's just going through coming of age things and some rough things that she's going on in her life. I thought it was okay. I just didn't really connect with the story overall, so I don't feel an attachment to holding on to it. Same with Home by Lisa Allen Agostini. This one is I want to say like middle grade, or maybe in between middle grade and young adult. A novel. Now I'm having trouble remembering what this one was even about, so that shows you it's a little not too memorable to me, but I just love the cover on this one. It's so gorgeous. I wish I ended up liking it better than I did. Then we have A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. This book I read pretty recently, and I just thought it was okay. Don't really feel like holding on to it. This one had, and the issue I had with this one was that it was dual timelines, and one of them from the beginning was just kind of boring. I didn't care about, and the second one, which was more interesting, I found as the book went on it became less interesting. I didn't care about. Then we have Room by Emma Donoghue. I'm really sad to get rid of this because I love the cover on it, but I just have to be realistic in that I'm never going to read this again. So this is like one of the rare cases where I read the book after I watched the movie, and also in a rare case that I like the movie adaptation better than the book. But I mean, I guess that says a lot, saying that the adaptation really did a good job of translating this over into film. This is part of the Picador. They had like a 40-year anniversary set, and me being a completionist, I kind of wanted to hold on to all the books. I think altogether there's like 12 books, and I kind of wanted to keep all of them because all the covers go together, but I decided that I just need to get over that. I don't need to keep entire books in a collection, and I'm gonna get rid of this one because I just know I'm never gonna read it again. And I finally decided to get rid of one of my Jane Austen sets. So Jane Austen's books are just one of those books that they're always going to be coming out with new and cute editions, and I kind of got wrapped up in that. Specifically, I wanted this book here for my pink shelf. It's the this copy of Sense and Sensibility. I think it's super pretty, but I have so many copies of Jane Austen's books. So I have the penguin cloth bounds here. I also have you can't see them here, but they're the Chiltern editions. They're on my TBR cart, which a tour of will be coming about soon. And specifically when it comes to Pride and Prejudice, I also have like 2 or 3 just random editions of it on my shelf. So needless to say, I have too much Jane Austen on my shelf, so I decided I was going to part ways with this set since it's like my least favorite of all the editions that I have, and I know someone else will definitely enjoy having this series. If I didn't have the other sets, I would definitely hold on to these, but at this point it's a little bit ridiculous how much of these I have. I bought these because they were like, I bought them at half price books, and they were already cheap, and I think I had like a discount, extra discount on top, so I was like, why not? But yeah, I definitely didn't need to buy another set of Jane Austen's books. If you guys see me buying any more Jane Austen books, please, please hold me accountable to stop buying more. Next we have a book I read this like a few months ago, and that's Perfect Little World by Kevin Wilson. This explores like a joint family situation where all these couples come together, they're having kids, and they raise their kids collectively on this commune. It was definitely interesting. I don't know, I feel like there was so much more potential for this author and what happens in the book, and I just kind of felt a little bit let down with it. It was just okay. And then we have China Dream by Ma Jian. I think I picked this one up at Goodwill a few months ago, and it was okay. It's kind of like a satire on totalitarianism set in China. And yeah, like I said, it was just okay. Don't need to hold on to it. And then we have Night Film by Marisha Pessel. And I really wanted to love this book. Like, I wanted to give this book 5 stars so badly, but then I read it and it was just okay. I think I gave it like 3 stars. I really love the mixed media elements that go along with this book. I just love when books can combine things like that, and so that's partially probably why I gave it 3 stars. Just the story itself wasn't there for me. I just didn't care or understand what was the big deal with everything they were solving in the book, so I'm not gonna hold on to this. I do have another book by Marisha Pessel, Special Topics in Calamity Physics, and I hope I like that one better, because if not, I don't think I'm going to read any more books by this author. Then we have The Thousandth Floor by Katherine McGee. This is the first book in, I don't know what this series is called, The Dazzling Heights, I think. And I gave this book 3 stars. I liked it. I didn't buy the next 2 books. I actually ended up listening to this on an audiobook from my Libby app, so I ended up listening to the next 2 books, the audiobooks. I think I gave them all 3 stars. Like, they were definitely interesting to listen to, entertaining enough at the time. Nothing like fantastic is happening in them, but they're definitely entertaining. So I think I gave the whole series like 3 stars, but it was good enough to compel me to want to continue on with the series. It's just like really easy to listen to, kind of like a Gossip Girl. It kind of reminded me of Gossip Girl a little bit. And it takes place in Manhattan in 2118, and it's very similar to Gossip Girl and all the different like relationships and people who are like have a lot of money, and then they have like a few people that don't have money. Like, everybody who lives at the top of the tower is like super rich, and everyone who's in the bottom is more poor. It was definitely an interesting book, and it's one I feel like could be a series, but I mean, I don't think they're going to make it into like a TV series or anything, but I could see that happening. Next we have a poetry collection. It's called Oculus by Sally Wen Mao. I'm just not into poetry, and I keep trying, and I really wanted to like this one. I think the cover on this is gorgeous, but yeah, just wasn't for me, unfortunately. I tried, I didn't even finish. I think I got like 30-40 pages in, and I was like, I feel like I had read it, but I didn't process or get anything out of it, so I didn't feel like I should waste more time finishing this when I didn't think I was going to remember anything. Then we have a nonfiction book, Fashion from the 18th to the 20th Century. The Kyoto Costume Institute. This is produced by Taschen. I used to love these Taschen like fashion books before. I used to be really into like fashion history and stuff like that. So I bought this like way back then. I think I bought this when I was like high school, and I never actually really read it, and I feel like now that's just not something I have a strong interest in, and if I did, I can pretty much probably find all this information by Googling it, so I don't need to have this book on my shelves. Then we have another like fashion book that I bought back when I was really into that as a topic, and that was What People Wore When, a complete illustrated history of costume from ancient times to 19th century for every level of society. So yeah, this just goes through a timeline of every like country back in their like the Renaissance and stuff like that, different costume and how things they wore and stuff. I never actually read this book all the way through, and I have no desire to read this book all the way through anymore, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Now on to our last few books. So the first one we have is The Girls by Emma Cline. I tried to get into this book. I started listening to it, and it just didn't hold my attention. I think this has to do with some like mass murders or something. Like, it's supposed to be very reminiscent of like the Marilyn Manson murders, I believe, where there's this like a guy who gets all these people around him, and then something happens. I don't know. It has something to do with like a cult and a charismatic leader. I tried to get into it, it just wasn't holding my attention, so I didn't finish it. So next we have an essay collection. It's called I Was Told There'd Be Cake by Sloane Crosley. I tried to get into this, and I just couldn't. It just read very first world problems, and this year, above all years, I just wasn't in the mood for this kind of content, so I wasn't going to force myself to read it. Then we have Miss You by Kate Eberlin. This one was a random pickup at Goodwill, a cover buy. I looked up some reviews, I read the first few pages, and it just didn't really seem like the book for me, so I'm going to pass it on. Then lastly, we have The English Wife by Lauren Willig. This one is a historical mystery, I believe. which I don't even remember now why. I think I started reading it and I was just like really bored and I wasn't getting into it, so I stopped. And I wasn't gonna force myself. But yeah, this one is, if you're into like historical mysteries, maybe you'll like it. But for me, I think I read some of this actually, like the first chapter, and I just did not care about anything that was happening, so the writing just really didn't pull me in. So those are all the books that I'm going to be getting rid of. Finally, I'll have a little bit more room in my room because I have that huge stack has just been sitting here for forever. I'll probably do another unhaul again in a couple of months because I do have some more paring down of my shelves that I would like to do, and usually every month there's like half the books that I read I decide to pass on. I don't want to hold on to them after I read them. Let me know if I got rid of any books that you guys would have kept or that you really enjoyed that you're sad that I'm letting go. But yeah, I just have to make room for more books. So thanks for watching. That's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.